Hello again. We started talking about Mahabharata and its characters. In previous couple of them, we covered few of them, including Dronacharya, then Vyas, through which Pandu and Dhritarashtra were born. In the last one, I mentioned that Dhritarashtra, who was the blind king, represents blind mind. And Pandu, who was white or pale, represents the intellect or buddhi. So one represents mind, which is blind. One represents intellect or buddhi, which is pure like white. Please remember that, if you remember that these were born because of the association of Vedavyasa with two different quality girls. Doubting mind is always there. There is a saying that what your mind thinks, bad things that actually never even could be imagined by anybody else. Anyway, so through the Dhritarashtra, 100 Kauravas were born. Since he was blind, he was married to Gandhari, who was a princess from Gandhar. Gandhar is today's Afghanistan. And at one time she was so mad that she had cursed that they will never have a peace. And as we see it even today, Afghanistan does not have much peace. In any way, that's not sure if it matters or not, but I'm going to talk about the characters. So the union of Dhritarashtra, the blind guy or blind king, and Gandhari created 100 Kauravas. Story as it goes that she had this big bowl, big mass of flesh, and she got mad, and they were broken into 100 pieces. They were kept in a jar with some eggs, and through which 100 different kids were born. Those are the 100 Kauravas. The question is, what does this all mean, and what do they represent? So, and the second part is the Pandu, who was married to Kunti and then Madri, and then they invoked it, 3 different gods by Kunti, 2 different by Madri, 2 actually twin brothers, and then the 5 Pandavas were born. We all know this story, and I'm going to try to make some sense out of it. So as I mentioned in my previous video, the Dhritarashtra represents blind mind. The mind has desires, and desires are fulfilled and perceived by organs of action or karmendriya, and perception is through jnanendriya or actions of perception, rather the organs of perception. So we have organs of perception, which are 5, namely the smell, the touch, the vision or seeing, the taste, and hearing. The organs of action in Hindu religion are 5 again, and they are hands, legs, procreation, excretion, speech. So those are the 5 organs of action. So we have 5 jnanendriyas, organs of perception, 5 karmendriyas, organs of action. Now the Gandhari represents power of desire. Gandhari represents power of desire. Contrast to that, Kunti represents power of dispassion. So the desire has to be there through which the organs of action or karmendriya act. If you don't have any desire to watch TV, you're not going to click that remote. If you don't have any desire to eat, you're not going to get up and go to a restaurant or cook something. So the desire leads to action. Action leads to perception. Perception leads to impression. Impression leads to desire, and desire leads to an action. Now, do you see how this is circle of mind? So in a circle of mind, we do an action, whether related to our previous impressions or samskaras, but we do an action. Either somebody tells us to do it and so we do it. Action leads to impression, either good or bad. Impression leads to desire to either do it again, experience it again, or avoid it. And that leads to, again, an impression, and this is the circle of mind that goes on. So there are 5 organs of action and perception which were involved in this circle of mind. So when the mind, which is blind and doesn't have an attachment or guidance from the pure intellect, it combines with this particular 5 entities, it leads to children. So if you combine 5 organs of action and 5 organs of perception, each one has 10 defects each, or 10 different types of defects. We get 100 Kauravas. Again, a little difficult to get it in one line. When the mind attaches to the desires or passion of desire, we have several desires, and that leads to several actions and several impressions. And these are all defects that leads to 100 children. Now each one of these Kaurava's name probably means something good and bad, and that is related to our 5 kids. Correction, 100 kids born through 5 of each. So 10 times 5 organs of action, 10 times 5 organs of perception. 50 and 50 make it 100. That's how the 100 Kauravas are born. There are various names and we don't know, and I don't know. Certainly, I'm sure they are there. And they probably mean something 2 ways, good and a bad. And I think if one can analyze Sanskrit, I'm sure they can come out with the meaning about what do they actually represent. So from Duryodhana and his 99 brothers are born out of mind attached to the desires. Contrast to that, when the buddhi or intellect is attached to dispassion, and when it is combined with 5 great elements, Prithvi, Apa, Teja, Vayu, Akash, the earth, the water, the energy, air, and the space, so to say. They produce, of course, they produce the 5 Pandavas. So combination of intellect and dispassion leads to 5 Pandavas. Again, we need a true interface of 5 great elements. I'm going to quickly mention one thing here so people don't mistaken the Pancha Mahabhuta or 5 great elements as just the plain Prithvi, Apa, Teja, Vayu, Akash. These great elements are altered when the universe is formed, which is called Panchikaran. I know it's a lot of new terms. Panchikaran is you get half of one element and 1/8 of the remaining 4 elements of each. So each great element converts into this form, which is at our level, micro level, and that forms the great element. And those 5 Pandavas are born through that. Again, Panchikaran, just take an example. If you take an element of earth in the actual physical universe, it has half of original earth or the Mahabhuta and 1/8 of the remaining 4. 1/8 of water, 1/8 of energy, 1/8 of air, 1/8 of space. And that's how the regular earth is there. So all earth has all 5 qualities of Panchamahabhuta. So talking about Pandavas, we will do a little bit more detail in one of these next or next to next videos. But Panchamahabhutas are involved in formation of 5 Pandavas, combining that with intellect and dispassion. Intellect is Pandu or Pandu, dispassion is Kunti, and of course Madri is attachment to dispassion. So those are the 5 Pandavas born. Blind mind combined with desires leads to 10 kids from 10 organs, 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, and that's how 100 Kauravas are born. I hope you like it. It's getting a little more complicated, I know. Maybe I'll talk about a patient story next time. Hope you enjoy. If you like, please join and subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.